Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the transfer show. It's starting to hot up, I think.
In here?
Well, in here.
Because you brought another big light in. That's why.
It's starting to hot up in the transfer front. Starting to see a few moves now. And as players come back for pre-season and look to strengthen their sides for next season.
It is. It's all the domino effect is beginning, isn't it? There's always, June, I suppose, is always going to be a quiet month. There was the Nations tournaments, and there's obviously the AFCON and the Copa America, and people having a break. And I think with the Champions League final being so late as well, it was into June, wasn't it? So players are away, and we've heard from Andre Gomez this week talking about his move to Everton, and he was like, I was on holiday for it. And a lot of players are doing that, aren't they? But now that the teams are all back, you're starting to see those deals come through now. And I think people want to... The trend has been people trying to get players in earlier and earlier every year, hasn't it? It used to be wait till the last bit to build up and the yellow tie day and transfer and deadline day. But clubs recognise now it's better to get them in as early as you can. And the other thing as well I've seen and found, and I think we both discussed it anyway, is the money isn't as free. It is free flowing, but it's not as free flowing, if you know what I mean. It's not like people just splash it everywhere. People are waiting for that bid to come in so they can move their money to get that player. Teams wait for that money to come in before moving it on now, where I think of seasons in the past, or certainly like 5-6 years ago, the money was just getting thrown anywhere early on, where now you seem to be seeing more teams, like we've seen Barcelona saying, well, we need to get rid of him and him before we can do that.
That must be the...
Must be FFP thing. It must be, mustn't it, that it's people are having to think a little bit more before they splash the cash. So, yeah, it's all kicking.
I suppose from that point of view, that makes it more of a level playing field, even though it feels like it's only a level playing field for the top clubs. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a way of making sure that Man City and PSG don't run away from everybody else, but it still feels only that it's at the top for those Champions League teams. It doesn't feel like, an Everton could splash money and get themselves up there. So it still feels like the money's sloshing around the top, and then they'll go and buy someone from a team below, and then that money just splashes around the teams below rather than... But I suppose, in the great scheme of things, that's the way it's always been.
Probably
it's
has.
Always been a hierarchy.
Yeah, that has, yeah. I think it's doing what it was meant to do, which is stop a team jumping five rungs up the ladder. That's what they want. They don't want that to happen, do they? So it's a case now, you can circumnavigate it by good planning and building your team, and as much as it pains me to say it, there's a team not too far away that has done that and planned and got where they've got. So that's a way that other clubs can do it, but you've got to recruit well, and that recruitment has to work.
You've got to recruit the people who recruit well.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, Everton, from our club, Everton, we're seeing the effects of bad recruitment, aren't we? Still.
Yeah.
So it's about good recruitment, and that's what you have to do.
Man City have made they've signed 2 players, haven't they? They brought Rodri in, who is
excellent.
One of the big players they've been. Well, there was the player they were looking to bring in anyway. They've met his buyout clause, 62 million, is it? 5th biggest signing ever to come into the Premier League. So they brought him in, which was their number one target, really. I think Man City have got an excellent way of bringing players in before the player he's replaced has left the club.
Yeah.
So there's a bedding in period, and that allows the player in that position. In this one, it looks like Fernandinho will be that player, and he's still got 2 years left, but they want to make sure that happens smoothly. Very much like when they bought Bernardo Silva into the club, basically to replace David Silva. David Silva's going to play his last year now. Very similar to that. They're not stupid. They know exactly how to bring these players in and when the time is right.
Good recruitment again, isn't it? Trixie Bergerstein and people like that. They've got great people at the top. They've got a fantastic coach in Guardiola, and everything. It's the symmetry running right through. It helps them to get where they are. Of course, it helps having a big pot of money as well. But they've brought Rodri in. Fernandinho's a fantastic player. We've waxed lyrical about him. He's the metronome for them, isn't he? And you're right, he's got a year, he's 35, I think, or coming up to being 35, so he's got a year, maybe 2, but what it does is it enables, when he comes out the team, there to be no drop-off, really. Rodri is an excellent player, and, you know, I was telling you before that he was let go by Atletico Madrid for being too small. He's 6'2" now. He went to Villarreal and they bought him back, so, you know, 62.8 million is the actual fee for him. And what it'll do is, in times last season for Manchester City, and particularly over Christmas when Liverpool built up that 10-point lead, Fernandinho wasn't at his best. I think he got injured as well, and he had to come out when they were trying to replace him.
They lost back-to-back games, didn't they?
Well, he put like Phil Foden, and it's not nothing to do with Phil Foden. Phil Foden's an excellent player, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. They were trying to mix that midfield together, and they didn't have a natural replacement for Fernandinho, so that'll just help them strengthen. And they've also brought Angelino back in, haven't they, who they've had, and he's a left back, I think. He's a good player.
Well, they let him go to PSV last summer, and they bought him back,
got him
put
back,
a buyback clause in, which is something I'm always looking for Everton to do. But yeah, they put a buyback clause in and brought him back, so you know, they've seen the player go away. Maybe the player, when you let them go, relaxes a little bit rather than when they're on loan. Maybe they feel like they're never settled in. But if you sell them and get a buyback and you let them settle a little bit, that relaxes them. They play better, and then you go, oh,
he's doing what we thought he was going to do. Yeah, well, they've done that. I mean, it was like we were talking about Zinchenko a few weeks ago. I mean, he was 12 months ago or whatever, or deadline day. He was allegedly off to Wolves, wasn't he? And he pulled the plug himself and wanted to stay, and ended up winning the league and everything, you know, the treble. He was involved, but Angelino will be competition for him. They've also got Mendy as well, so they've got. I mean, they have got a brilliant squad. But that's an interesting one, and off the back of that, I know you're going to now talk about Atletico.
Yeah, well, Atletico wasted no time. They've gone and brought in João Felix, who's been a hugely talented young lad, hot prospect who's been talked about going to all the big clubs. You know, the likes of Man City have been linked with him. A lot of the top clubs have. I think for 113 million pounds, yeah, 120 million euro.
I
get the feeling, that probably put Man City off, because even though Man City spend a lot of money, they don't tend to overpay. It's not something they do. They have a valuation for someone and they stick to it, and they're good at that. So but Atletico obviously using the money that they've got from Rodri and other players they've let go this summer. They brought him in on a 7-year contract, 19 years of age. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Everyone watched them last year. Everton watched them quite a bit. United, like you say, United watched them. City, I'm sure Liverpool will have watched them. It's a really hot prospect. One of those group of fantastically talented young Portuguese. Portugal under 20s are brilliant. They've got half a dozen who look like fantastic talents, and he's one of them. I think he got 15 goals in the league for Benfica last year. He looks brilliant, he really does. I don't know whether he's ready for the Premier League, the physicality of it, because he's only slight. Looks like a young Kaka, but he's really good. And going there is a bit of an interesting one, because they're predominantly a defensive team under Simeone, aren't they? They defend brilliantly. I'm not saying they don't attack, but he's creativity. But maybe they're having to change a bit, aren't they?
They're also on the well. They've already lost Griezmann to a point. I mean, he hasn't actually left. But
no.
He's announced he's leaving, so they need to replace him as well. And they're going to get over 100 million for him. So really, who knows? Who can say? I mean, Griezmann's in his peak, but who's to say that? You know, you get your money back. You get the money you're paying for Felix on Griezmann, and who's to say, he doesn't replace him in terms of goals and assists this season? Or if he comes short, and you look at him and go, well, he's 19, 20, then you'd be like, well, actually, it's not. He looks all right there.
He looks like a top talent, doesn't he? You know, the Griezmann's buyout's 108 million, I think, and they've paid 113 for him. Griezmann's 28, he's 19. So if you look at it that way, they're paying £5 million for one of the hottest prospects in Europe, aren't they? That if you're balancing it that way.
Atletico, they've always had a history of doing this, don't they? They always sell a player and then bring in a hot prospect to replace them. They're so good at that. They're always looking at the next sort of, maybe not the player who's going to go right to the top at that point, but someone just in between, someone who looks of good talent, and they bring them in, and they get 4 or 5 years. They've been doing this now for 10, 15, well over 15 years.
They've had unbelievable
Torres
strikers,
and Aguero and Falcao and Costa and Griezmann, and it's just been a conveyor belt of when the players are ready to go and maybe try their hand, whether it be abroad or whether it take the next step up. They feel they've always got someone to bring in. It's such a clever way to do it, because we've had it in the past. Other teams have had it. You have a real good talent. Like when we had Lukaku. If you're selling a Lukaku, you should be ready then to replace him with the next big thing. You've got money, so why not go out and try and get the next big thing? And Madrid do that, and really,
they've put themselves though in a really good position through doing that, though, haven't they? When they first sold the likes of Fernando Torres, and they got Cunning and people like that, they were trying. Falcao came. The team was getting better each year as well, so they invested the money well in the team and built from it, so that by the time they were moving players on, they could replace with the likes of Griezmann, and that worked, as in Diego Costa, and it worked well for them. Morata's there now, of course. Whereas with Everton, we were trying to buy 5 players with Lukaku's money, whereas if it would have been quite simply, we're selling Rom and we're bringing another striker in for 50 million who's going to replace him. That's probably how it should have been, because your goals are vital, aren't they? And they've done it brilliantly. Hopefully now with the model Everton have got in, as they go forward, and players whose value goes up, and other teams, say it's Richarlison in 2 years, big, Barcelona or whatever come in for him at 130, Everton hopefully will be higher up with a much better team and able to go, right, well, we'll buy this striker over here for 60 and we'll use that for, and that's the way to do it. They've done it absolutely brilliant, the Atletico Madrid, they really have, and it'll be interesting to see what they do as well, because there's other players who they're after as well, probably with the Rodri money, so
they need to. They've got a lot of players to replace, but I suppose it's circumstance as well. Listen, they are in the Spanish capital. They've got a fantastic stadium. They are a Champions League team. So they've got all that behind this. They generally finish in the top 4 as well. So they have got a lot of things going for them, and which don't necessarily replicate, certainly from our point of view, what we've got for us.
No.
But, the challenge is to do that, isn't it? I mean, look at Spurs and look what they've done, and in terms of being an also-ran, but saying, well, we want to get within the elite, and that's what they've done, and they've become a huge attraction now, and they've actually splashed the cash this week, and Dembele's come in from Lyon, which is exactly the kind of player I think they need to go forward.
Yeah, he's another one a lot of clubs have looked at this season. Fantastic talent, 21, big, box to box, can improve, and improves them. Gives them a bit more energy in that and power in that midfield. They've had powerful midfielders, haven't they? They've tried Eric Dyer in there for his stature, but he's just more of a stopper. They've had Wanyama work to a certain extent. And Dembele can carry the ball a bit more like Moussa Dembele, who should play for them, but with a bit more defensive. He's a bit like Wanyama and Dembele mixed together almost, and he's at a great age. So I think it's a fantastic signing for them, and it's something they needed. They brought Jack Wallace, is it? I want to forget his name. They brought Jack, the young winger, from Leeds as well, and he's gone back on loan to Leeds. But they were the first 2 players they've signed for 18 months since they bought Lucas Moura in from PSG. So they've bided the time, but he is a very, very good player. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I still think there's still a couple of holes in that squad where you look at it and go, he's still an excellent side, and he will make them better. But the real issues are Kane has been injured now the last few seasons. I know they've got Son, who's brilliant, but when Kane goes out the side, they haven't really replaced him. They've slightly changed it last year and used Moura than Son, and it worked to a certain extent. But over a period of time, could it, I just don't think they're as good as the two teams above them at the moment. But and Dembele will certainly.
I think they just need more. They need more world-class players or more Champions League class players in their squad who can just add something to it.
Yeah.
Simply as that, isn't it? It's just need better players. I think some of them are just players who are of a similar level. You know, if Dele Alli goes out the team, who replaces him?
He's gone off the boil, though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he really has gone off the boil, and you don't know what's happening with Eriksen. But regardless of what happens with Spurs, he's a fantastic signing for them. He's the type of player they should be buying as well. Really, really good signing for them. And obviously, another Premier League big move. Newcastle have had a bit of a nightmare, haven't they, the last week. Rafa's obviously gone out the door to China. You know, the takeover was apparently by some fella in his bills in Nottingham, and they've sold Ayos Perez for £30 million to Leicester. Rondon, they're not taking the option up on, so he's gone back to West Brom. They've now lost their other striker in Ayos Perez. 30 million's the new 10 million,
apparently, so.
Isn't it? But saying that, this lad got 12 goals last season for Newcastle. He didn't create a lot of chances, or 2 against us. He's got really good movement, this kid. He's one of those where you look at him and go, he looks like there's just something stopping him being a really excellent player. And if Brendan Rodgers can get it out of him, that could be a very astute piece of business for Leicester. Vardy's another year older. He will slow down. You know, there was times last season it looked like I think he'd had like 5 goals till Rodgers come in, or till even after Christmas, and then he got on a good run when Rodgers was, well, it will have been, won't it, till Rodgers come in. Then he finished the season with a flourish. And Perez will give them that ability to he can play wide as well. So I think it's probably, don't forget Okazaki's just left them as well. So they were light up top, weren't they?
Fill that gap.
And Iniacho, after his amazing miss to stop City, to make sure City won the league.
Definitely needed something for that. I mean, it's hard, isn't it? You've got to get your head around these figures now. It's when you're there 30 million, but we paid nearly 30 million for Balassi. So a couple of years ago.
I paid 25. It was never getting to 30 because we're never going to do what it should have done.
Still 25.
Oh, it was, yeah.
You know,
I know.
So this lad scored goals
in the Premier League,
and he'll only get better, I think. So I don't think
he's only 24 or 25.
It's not a bad piece of business. Leicester obviously could be losing Maguire as well.
Yeah.
Man United and Man City apparently want him, but Leicester want around 90 million for him. Which, although it sounds daft, from their point of view, you can understand why. They don't want to lose him. Virgil van Dijk 18 months ago went for 75 million. This lad's got 4 years left of a contract, which he was happy to sign last summer, which he would have known the minute he signed it made his valuation more. You know, apparently he wants to leave the club, which, you know, he probably might feel this is his big chance now, at the right age to go to someone. I mean, if he went to United, he'd go straight into the team. If he went to City, I'm not so sure if he would go straight into the team. Or he certainly would have a more of a fight. And I don't see Man City paying that kind of money for him. I just don't. Man United, yes.
Well, City wouldn't pay 75 for Van Dijk. Yeah. Which they should have done.
Well, they should have.
But they should have done. It would be very different circumstances now in the Premier League. Yeah, listen, is Maguire worth anywhere near that? Not for me. You know my feelings on him. I think he's a decent centre-back. People overrate him massively, in my opinion, but that's the way it is. I understand why United probably want him. They want a big groch in the centre of their defence, and an English player as well, for rotas and everything. You know, City need a centre-back. They do need a centre-back. Vincent Kompany's gone out the door. I think there's much better value in Europe than what they're doing, than Harry Maguire, much better. Saliba is one of them at St Etienne.
I think City, though, might be in a situation where, what we spoke about before, because they didn't necessarily have a replacement for Kompany straight away. And they've got good centre-backs, but they want another one, and the fact that he's playing in the Premier League and has been for 2 or 3 seasons now means that you don't have that adjustment period.
No, I mean, he could go in and he'd probably improve them, and he'd improve as a player because obviously they're an amazing side, so he'd make them better, of course he would. But like you said, I don't see them paying that money, unless they offer John Stones to Leicester. I think Brendan would be made up. Well, Stones isn't going to play. Can't get him.
I think as he
Can't
gets,
get him.
I think he'll start playing more games personally.
If they got Maguire, John Stones isn't getting him, because they've got Laporte, who's amazing, who's left-footed. They've got Otamendi, who Pep likes, and they'd have Maguire. So Stones will be fourth choice centre back. All right, they play enough games for him to get games, of course they do. But he's gone from was supposedly going to be their mainstay centre back to third, fourth choice centre back. It's an interesting one for him. I think Brendan would love to have him at Leicester, wouldn't he? Ball playing centre back, but I don't know. Maybe Everton will get him back.
No,
doubt it.
Chance.
No.
Lots happening in Italy.
Yeah.
Especially around Juventus and Inter Milan. Both of these have put. Well, I mean, Inter are in the Champions League, so they're going to start throwing around. They already brought in Golden from Atletico Madrid on a free transfer as a centre back. Trying to get Lukaku in. 90
million for Maguire or Gordon for free.
It's the age, though, isn't it? It's the age.
But anyway, yeah.
Trying to get Lukaku in now for less than United paid for him, which is incredible. They're trying to get him on loan for 2 years and then pay, which would stop Everton getting our money that we'd get from him. Icardi could be going to Juventus to help pay for it, because Inter Milan can't pay for it without him leaving. And he wants to leave anyway, or he certainly had issues over his contract and didn't play last season.
Not his wife had issues.
Well, I think that probably started with him. So there's a lot happening at Juventus. Rabiot's gone in there.
Yeah.
Adam Ramsey got officially, obviously, announced. They've just brought Buffon back for a year, and apparently he's got a clause in his contract that says he has to play 8 games, because if he plays 8 games in the league in Italy, he'll become the all-time appearance record holder. He will take that from Paolo Maldini.
Awesome.
So he'll take that. So that might be one of the reasons why he's gone back there.
Well, let's be honest, he's still better than Chesney.
Yeah. That's cool. But he obviously felt like it. You know, he wanted that time away. Paris. I mean, the thing about Paris Saint-Germain was he went there, played a few games, got well in with the Qataris, and he'll be like a Qatari ambassador when the World Cup comes around. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you do, isn't it? That's what you do.
It is a merry-go-round there. Obviously, Rabiot's a fantastic signing, but I mean, Juve with Rabiot's mum and Icardi's missus going to be a lively place. Yeah.
We've also got the prospect of De Ligt going to Juventus, which hasn't been sorted out yet.
I mean, if they get him as well and Icardi, they're becoming.
They're top heavy.
But they're also becoming a super team.
But they are, and this is what he wanted when he bought Ronaldo. Though. Ronaldo was like the magnet to bring these players and to say to other people that, number one,
we are attractive again. Yeah.
I mean, it's not financial fair play. Obviously, they might just say, well, we're doing it all in one summer, and next season we'll have a lean one. But if they get Icardi and Inter get Lukaku, then this Moise Kean situation becomes very, very interesting. Because I think he's going to leave Juventus personally. Because I just don't see where there's any room for him. And financially, Juventus are going to have to sell somebody. His dad apparently said he wanted him to go to Inter Milan. Inter Milan ain't buying him if they buy Lukaku. It's just, they've got the muscle. No. They haven't got the financial muscle to bring him in. So I still think Moise Kean could end up at Everton. And I know that people are pie in the sky. But if you connect all the dots, if there's real interest from Everton, and you connect all the dots, they'll lead back to the Premier League. And if we're interested and we've shown interest, then that play will suit what we need.
I think Raiola wants him to come here as well. I think Raiola's got, whether people like it or not, and we all know our feelings on him. He is what he is, isn't he? But he's got a good relationship. He's also Marcel Brands' agent, isn't he? He's got a good relationship with Farhad Moshiri. And he's the one, apparently, who has said he wants him to go to Everton. And he said that in Italy, like, you know, it could happen with Everton. So you're right. I mean, if Juventus get Icardi, and according in the Spanish press today, in the Italian press today, he's very close to signing him, which means they'd have Icardi, Dybala, Ronaldo, Mandzukic, and then Moise Kean. He'd be fifth choice striker.
Mandzukic, I can see going as well.
But he'd be Keane would be fourth or fifth choice striker. He's not going to get game time, especially because they've got 37 midfield players. You know, when you look at their midfield players, Khedira, Emre Can, Adam Ramsey, Rabiot, Bentancur, they're just five off the top of my head, who do all play centrally for them. So they've got too many players. So really, you could see Moise Kean coming to Everton for a couple of years. There'll be probably a buyback clause in it, maybe. And you're right, the more it's a merry-go-round between those teams. So if Icardi does go there, that frees up Lukaku. We've seen Lukaku's agent yesterday in Milan.
Well, his agent is the same. His agent is Conte's agent as well.
So he come out. Well, there you go, isn't it? But he come out yesterday and was like, "Well, Inter have just got to make the bid now. Once Inter do the bid, that's it. It's done." So Inter will be saying to Icardi, which I think where the stories come from today, is very, very close to signing for Juventus. So once that's done, then Lukaku goes there. Moise Kean all of a sudden becomes available. Nuts. More so. So you're right. He could end up at Everton with Raiola, and I suppose the selling thing for him is this is a club who are ambitious. They're trying to build a new stadium, but my other client, Romelu Lukaku, went there for 3 or 4 years, and then the next minute he was on another level. You go there and score goals for a couple of seasons, you'll have all the top clubs after you again. So, I'm it's up to us then to, again, we say it all the time, but for Everton, it's up to us to grow with the players so that the decision isn't as easy then as going, well, hang on, do I want to leave? Well, no, because we're doing things here. So it's dead interesting. It really is, and you're right. All the money is starting to splash about. I mean, we talked about Benfica before selling João Felix. They've gone and bought Raul de Thomas from Real Madrid. He only played one game for them. He's 25 years of age, but he had a couple of seasons on loan at Rayo Vallecano and got 38 goals for them. So they took him for 20 million.
That's incredible.
Which is it's mad. So they've took him, 20 million euro it is actually. So they've took him to Benfica. He'll probably score a half full of goals, and next summer Man City will be linked with him or something. But that's what it is, isn't it? That money is getting sloshed around, and people are waiting and going, well, with this money for this sale, I can buy him and buy him. And we've also seen this week, obviously, just before we finish, I mean, there's a hard stuff with Arsenal. I mean, they offered 40 million. They just haven't got the money.
I still think, well, we spoke about this on another show, but who's going to be who are they going to sacrifice? Well, the talk was the other day that they put a price tag on Aubameyang of 57 million. And if that's true, someone's definitely going to take a risk on him, because I think for 57,
think he is a risk.
No, I don't. But for 57 million pound, like, you're not gonna get your money back on it. But if he leads you to trophies and then he's going to score goals. He's going to score goals. He's 30, but...
Well, Vardy's still not going to win at 33, isn't he? 33. So if you got Aubameyang for 3 seasons, 57 million, and he got you top 4 because he scored a lot of goals, maybe United should take a chance on him.
Or Everton.
Oh yeah, Everton. Well, without a shadow, without we should, but who would you rather have, him or Moise Kean?
Him.
He's already done it, hasn't he? Done it everywhere.
Instant goal scorer.
Yeah.
Anything else catch your eye?
No, not really, because everything else is still bubbling with a lot of stuff, isn't it? You're looking at, we know Liverpool signed a young lad, Dutch lad, didn't he, at the back end of last week, who looks a prospect. United have obviously Wan-Bissaka and Matt James, but I know Bruno Fernandes' agents flew into England apparently to tout him to a few teams, because I think they thought United had snapped their hand off at 70-80 million. United haven't done that. So that one's going to be an interesting one, because he's been linked with quite a few clubs as well. Wolves are buying a defender, I think, for 30 million, but that hasn't gone through either yet. And we've also obviously Phil Jagielka looks like he's gone
Yeah.
to Sheffield United on a free. So there's a lot of things that are in transition at the moment. But
there's only a month left.
Well, no, well, that's
UK,
why.
in England.
Well, everyone's back now, aren't they? So that's why I think over the next few weeks we'll probably have a lot more to talk about.
I tell you one thing though, this show is a lot better than four fellas sat around laptops.
Oh my God, I had it on for 3 seconds before this morning. It was atrocious. I had to turn it off. It was atrocious. It really was. But that's Sky for you at times.
There you go. Yeah, tell us who you think's a good deal, who you think is a bad deal. The merry-go-round has a big gun. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a big like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want more great videos, live videos, join us over on Patreon. We'll see you later.